We all have to experience loss. Even you, Norman.
What are you writing?
The final chapter.
Like they always say, third time's the charm. But regardless, welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans out there, to another very exciting Marvel Games related video. And instead of talking about the already fully released Marvel Spider-Man 2, which will also be receiving its official PC port later this month in January, we are going to be taking a sneak peek into the future with the inevitable sequel to Marvel Spider-Man 2, as well as the potential grand finale of the entire Insomniac Games Spider-Man franchise with the one and only Marvel's Spider-Man 3. And if we take everything into consideration from this recent news report, it sounds like the overall development for this game is right on track. So if you're beyond hype for Marvel's Spider-Man 3 like I am, and want to be kept fully up to date with this project and all the other exciting titles in the works at Insomniac and Marvel Games, then definitely be sure to thwip that like button and subscribe to the channel for even more Marvel Spider-Man videos like this down the line. So to swing on in directly into this news, we do have a recent article from GameRant.com which fully breaks down a brand new job listing which was spotted within Insomniac Games. And while Insomniac Games does have massive projects that are simultaneously in development, all the signs point to Marvel Spider-Man 3 being in very early production. Where, as the article states, is that a new job listing at Insomniac suggests that Marvel's Spider-Man 3 is already in the early production stages. All of Insomniac's previous Spider-Man games have been critically and commercially successful, and 2023's Spider-Man 2 left plenty of loose plot threads for a new sequel to pick up. Sure enough, Insomniac has confirmed that Marvel's Spider-Man 3 is in development, but not much has been revealed since. However, Insomniac might already be hard at work on Marvel's Spider-Man 3, at least according to a newly posted job listing for a senior UX researcher at the storied PlayStation developer. According to the listing, this senior researcher would be responsible for leading the research process for a AAA title, and will be required to work at Insomniac Games' Burbank UX lab over a 3-month period to help with a project that is already in early production. Now, out of all the other current AAA games that we know about which either have already been developed or are currently being developed by Insomniac Games, it would make the most amount of sense for Marvel's Spider-Man 3 to be the title to fit this particular job description. After all, we do know that Marvel's Wolverine has reportedly already been in development for several years now, alongside of various gaming industry insiders saying that the production for Marvel's Wolverine is going smoothly despite the massive hacking attack that Insomniac faced all the way back in late 2023, and even the change of the main creative director for that project. So considering that Marvel's Wolverine has already been in development for quite some time now, it would make sense for that job to pertain to that game. Although, we did hear all the way back in October of 2023 from the main narrative director over at Insomniac Games himself of John Paquette, stating that even though Marvel's Spider-Man 2 did manage to tell their own unique Venom story, they are going to wait and listen to see what the fans have to say when considering a potential Venom spin-off game, which I have already talked ad nauseum about the possibility of what that game could include within previous videos. But if there is indeed a AAA standalone Venom game being made, it would more than likely be of the same scope and scale as the in-between game that Insomniac have already crafted with Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, rather than being a full-length game like that of Spider-Man PS4 or Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And if Insomniac is currently working on a Venom game alongside of Marvel's Wolverine, then I would already assume that the Venom game has been in development for quite some time, more than likely ever since they finished development for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Which, again, it doesn't sound like that this senior UX job relates in any way to either Wolverine or a Venom game. And I can only make sure to keep my fingers crossed that we do end up receiving some type of standalone Venom game at some point down the line. But for the case of Marvel's Spider-Man 3, especially if we look at the previous development timeframes for all the other released Insomniac games, then this specific development process would definitely align with what we've seen in the past. But the biggest two questions that I know for a fact that every single one of you are asking at this point is when exactly could we see Marvel's Spider-Man 3 be officially announced, as well as when exactly could Marvel's Spider-Man 3 release? Well, in my honest opinion, this is where things start to get a bit tricky. We currently know that Insomniac Games is all hands on deck with Marvel's Wolverine, and while I'm sure they've made really great progress with that game's development, I genuinely believe that we will not see Marvel's Wolverine release until 2026 at the earliest.
But I want it now!
This is because, on top of Insomniac Games already being a subsidiary company underneath the PlayStation Studios banner, they're also planning on releasing a massive AAA Marvel licensed game. And in case you're someone who's not been paying attention to all the other games which are planned to release later this year, is that 2025 is actually shaping up to be a pretty damn big year for both PlayStation and Marvel. Because for the case of PlayStation, we do know that they are going to be releasing two massive first-party games on the PS5, then none other than Death Stranding 2, which is being developed by the legendary Hideo Kojima, as well as the highly anticipated sequel to one of the most beloved PlayStation games of all time with Ghost of Tsushima, that of which being Ghost of Yotei, developed by Sucker Punch. And for the case of Marvel Games, we also know that they have another massive AAA game coming out later this year, developed by Skydance New Media and being led by the main creator and writer of the first three Uncharted games of Amy Hennig, with that of Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Now, I bring all that up to say that given that Marvel's Wolverine doesn't have an official release window yet, and all these other massive PlayStation and Marvel games will be releasing later this year, as well as the additional major release which will probably be the biggest video game of all time with Grand Theft Auto 6, I definitely think it would be the smartest move possible if Insomniac Games were to hold off on releasing any other game until next year in 2026 when things are a bit calmer. And for the case of Marvel's Spider-Man 3, considering that the main wait time between Spider-Man PS4 and Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was that of 5 years, I definitely think that the earliest in which Insomniac Games could release Marvel's Spider-Man 3 might be 2028 or even 2029, depending on when exactly they want to launch Marvel's Wolverine, which is pretty much my fancy way of saying is that we still have quite a long ways away until we even see a first glimpse at Marvel's Spider-Man 3. But again, it's just great to simply know that it sounds like that the development for Marvel's Spider-Man 3 and all the other major AAA titles that are in the works within Insomniac and Marvel Games are on the right track. And no matter what they decide to show next, I know for a fact that I will be there day one. But with all that said, everybody, that's the video I have for all you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on this brand new job listing at Insomniac Games, and out of all the other massive AAA projects that they have currently in development, like that of Marvel's Wolverine, a potential Venom spin-off game, or even Marvel's Spider-Man 3, which one are you the most excited for? Let me know what you think, be sure to leave a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy, and for more Marvel Spider-Man videos like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, stay spectacular Spidey fans, and until next time, peace out.